Hello and welcome to Animal Watch, and today I'll be telling you the lovely story of when Ocean, my wolf dog, and Zora, my Romanian stray, made friends with a very cute little wild fox.
It's super rare when there is a cross-species friendship, so when it happens, it's beautiful to behold. Just like when a friendly wild fox insisted on befriending my two dogs, Zora and Ocean. Today I will tell you the story of how they met and where the little fox is now. It's one of the sweetest tales ever. We see special cross-species friendships all the time on social media, and it's definitely heartwarming, such as some of these clips. Like Jojo the wild dolphin, who is best friends with Ziz the spaniel, who I filmed in Turks and Caicos. They can't wait to swim with each other every day. Another gorgeous friendship is Aussie cattle dog Orion and his horse friend Destiny. It's so beautiful to behold. So when it happened with my wolf dog Ocean and Romanian rescue Zora with a little wild fox, it was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. Being a fox lover, having filmed rescued baby foxes at the Fox Project, as well as being a patron of the rescue, I was both terrified and thrilled the night I met Pappy. Zora, my gentle Romanian rescue, and I were out walking in the dark, and we saw two sets of yellow eyes darting towards us. I jumped out of my skin. I had no idea what it was as it was so dark. Initially, I thought it was a challenging cat or a lost puppy, but then I saw its little face and fluffy orange fur. It was a young fox, a very brave and cheeky young fox. I estimated the fox to be around 6 months old. She was very curious and friendly and wanted to meet Zora. It was very unusual behaviour, as foxes generally fear dogs, but I had heard on the grapevine that a local older lady had bottle raised and released a fox the year before. This fox had been used to dogs. I thought that this might be her released fox, which had initially rewilded herself, but due to the upbringing with humans, was equally still very friendly to people and dogs in particular, which, although wonderful for us, a little worrisome for the fox, as if my dogs had been nasty dogs, this little fox could have been mauled. I only allowed Zora to meet the fox, as my huskies were too full on and would have chased her. So I took the huskies home and came back with just Zora. Curious to know more about this little fox and to check that she wasn't hurt or starving. Zora was very gentle and greeted the little fox with a motherly gentleness. This was amazing, as Zora can discipline dogs she dislikes, but something told her to be gentle to this young fox. Every night after this, I would go out and Pappy the fox was waiting for us. I called her Pappy, as initially I called her Puppy, and it kind of morphed into Pappy as I called out to her in the dark. Pappy would make those gorgeous squeaky fox noises, roll over to submit to Zora and wag her tail like a dog with glee. She took dog treats from my hand, and I did give her some tinned dog food too, as I was worried that she hadn't rewilded herself properly yet and wasn't catching anything to eat. I also knew this was not the correct thing to do, as you can keep a fox tame by doing this. But the thing was, I was aware that she was pestering other dog walkers who didn't like her, so I wanted to draw her off them and onto us instead. This wonderful relationship went on for a few weeks until Ocean, my blue wolf dog, arrived from Canada. As Ocean was a puppy and a very gentle wolf dog, I decided to introduce her to Pappy along with Zora. Starting Ocean off young meant I could teach her to be gentle to this curious and playful fox. Pappy met and instantly adored Ocean. She seemed to sense that Ocean was really gentle. We even got this unbelievable footage of Ocean washing Pappy. Ocean and Pappy met up many more times over a 6-month period, but we started to become worried when we heard that some locals didn't like Pappy coming up to them on their walks. Pappy was reported to pest control, and we all held our breath as some locals were accusing Pappy of being dangerous, nasty, and trying to kill their dogs, which of course was rubbish. It was the same locals that advocate shooting wildlife and fox hunting, so hardly surprising that it was this type of person targeting her. I was so worried that someone would shoot Pappy that I reached out to Fox Project for advice, asking if Pappy should be caught and relocated or kept as a tame fox in a sanctuary. Surprisingly, Fox Project told me that it was more dangerous to do this than leave her where she was, as she would be out of her familiar territory and might not survive. They watched her on film and said she was way too wild for a sanctuary, and it would make her very unhappy. Instead, we took the difficult decision to attempt to stop feeding her and try to encourage her to fend for herself. That same week, I heard that a fox had been shot, and my heart sunk. Locals declared the pesky fox was dead on a nasty Facebook forum. I was heartbroken. I went out that night with a lump in my throat, and no Pappy came. However, just before I lost all hope, there she was, my Pappy! The fox that had been killed turned out to be another fox. This was incredibly sad, but it seemed to make the locals feel that they had found their pesky fox, so hopefully Pappy was off the hook. This bided me enough time to take Fox Project's advice and try and minimise my interaction with Pappy, so she would start to stop approaching humans and their dogs. Luckily though, I didn't have to do this, as soon after a male fox turned up in late December, taking Pappy's attention off me. We could see and hear that they had mated, and hey presto, in the spring, Pappy came out to me with her nipples full of milk. She had had babies and was feeding them close by. She came out then every 3 or 4 days to me, but I could see that it was getting less and less. Then after not seeing her for a week or two, a ragged and puppy-exhausted Pappy came out to me. But I sensed something different. It was as if she'd come to say goodbye. After that day, I saw her 2 cubs peeking out of the undergrowth, but for some reason, Pappy didn't come to me anymore. It was as if her mothering instincts had kicked in, and she knew not to encourage me to approach her pups. She instead stayed well back and looked at me with her 2 yellow eyes in the darkness. I had heard that in some cases of captive wolves, a female's personality changes once they have babies. They become more nervous and more protective. Perhaps the same had happened to Pappy. I watched the puppies every night, but over time her puppies left home, and so did Pappy. I think she relocated them to a wood up the road, away from humans and aggressive dogs. I was ever so sad, perhaps even a little heartbroken, but it was the correct thing to happen to Pappy. It could have saved her life. Every now and then I see her eyes in the dark, but she has totally rewilded herself. She looks at me and sometimes I see her pensively think about approaching me, but then she has second thoughts and runs off into the night. It was the best outcome for her to rewild herself, as this story could have ended very badly for her. I would have been devastated if a local had shot her. This brings me to the important topic of trying to not tame wild baby foxes. Here are some important clips of me at the Fox Project talking to Trevor Williams, who runs the charity, and why we must rewild any rescued foxes, or we can set them on a path to be shot as a pest.
The fox supposedly is not hunted anymore, even though we know they are secretly hunting them. But they're still considered to be a pest in a certain degree. So if somebody has one in their garden, they can actually call out pest services and get the animal shot, can't they?
Yeah, they can.
So by overly handling overly domesticating a wild fox, you are basically setting it up to be killed because it could become victimized by local villagers, individuals that find it pesky. It loves humans, it loves their animals, it might be bothersome to their dogs. And then they call out the pest person and that's a dead fox.
I'm afraid so, yes. I mean, you've got to make it and allow it to become as wary as it needs to be. If you neglect that and you don't put it in some kind of control system for going back to the wild, you're spelling its doom, you're shortening its life.
As you heard, Fox Project explains why a tame fox can end up being a dead fox. So please think about their advice, as one day you may find a baby fox and you will know what to do. Just like I did last year when I found one lost in a main road. I took her to Fox Project immediately, despite my inner demon asking me to keep her. And she was safely released several months later, a totally rewilded and wild fox. If you, however, live in central London or have urban foxes, it is sometimes okay to bend the rules a little, as this Instagram count has. I just adore the reels and love watching the foxes come to see the people. And just to finish off, here are some fun clips of me playing with a pet fox that was bred from a line of domesticated foxes. If you want to watch Angel's episode, I'll pop the link in the information tab above. If you really want a pet fox and have the ability to build an enclosure, as they will destroy your house, then watching this episode will give you some excellent advice to set you on your way.
And if you enjoyed this episode, then be sure to give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel by clicking that button in the bottom hand corner. And be sure to tune in every week when I'll be bringing you more amazing episodes on dogs, wolves, foxes, animal rescue and conservation. Bye for now. Oh, and just before we go, I'll just finish up with some really adorable little videos of me feeding baby foxes at the Fox Project.